The sky was an ocean of blue, brushed with wisps of cotton clouds, and the sun hung lazily above the horizon, casting long amber rays over the open field. It was one of those rare days where nothing's hurried, where the air was warm but not hot. The breeze was gentle, and the world felt like it had paused just long enough to breathe. Eli, a curious 8-year-old with sun-kissed cheeks and grass stains on his jeans, walked hand in hand with his father through the park's tall meadow. The grass tickled his legs, and every now and then he'd stop to swipe his sneaker across the dandelion, sending its white fuzz drifting like tiny parachutes. They found a wooden bench, weathered by seasons and softened at the edges by time, and sat beneath a towering cottonwood tree that whispered with each breath of wind. Eli leaned back, sweaty curls clinging to his forehead, and stared up into the vast, cloud-dotted sky. A silver dot caught his eye. "Look, Dad," he said, pointing. "A plane!" High above, a jet glided soundlessly through the sky, so distant it seemed like a floating fleck of glitter. It left behind a faint, chalky trail, thin and straight like thread pulled across the sky. Eli watched it silently for a moment, then turned to his father, his voice soft but searching. "Dad, how big is God?" His father turned to him slowly, one arm resting behind his son on the bench, his eyes following the plane's path. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he let the question breathe, like it deserved its own moment in the wind. "That's a really good question, Eli," he said finally. "Let me show you something." He pointed at the airplane. "How big do you think that plane is?" Eli squinted. "I dunno. From here, it looks like a toy. Maybe the size of my action figure?" His dad smiled and gently ruffled his hair. "You remember last month when we went to the airport to pick up Aunt Sarah?" Eli's face lit up. "Yeah, that plane we saw up close was huge. I couldn't even touch the top of the tire, and I stretched as high as I could." "That's the same kind of plane," his dad said. "The one flying up there right now. It hasn't gotten any smaller. We've just gotten farther away." Eli blinked, turning that over in his mind like a puzzle piece. "It's all about perspective, son. When something's far away, even something massive, it can look tiny. But the closer you get, the more you realize just how big it really is." He paused, his voice turning gentle. "That's how it is with God, too." Eli looked up again, the plane nearly vanishing now. "When we feel far from God," his father said, "he can seem small, like he's just out there somewhere, way up high, barely noticeable. But God never changes. He's still enormous, mighty, powerful enough to speak stars into being, close enough to hear your quietest prayer. But sometimes we move. We get busy, distracted, or hurt, and we drift. The farther we are, the smaller he seems. Eli's eyes grew wide, his voice quiet with wonder. So if I want to feel how big he really is again, then you come closer, his dad whispered. Talk to him. Read his words. Sit in the quiet and let your heart reach for him. You'll be surprised how close he really is. The wind shifted slightly, bringing with it the scent of honeysuckle from a bush nearby. A bird chirped in the tree above, and the leaves rustled like heaven's own applause. They sat there for a little while longer in silence, watching the sky, the boy leaning slightly into his father's side, comforted by more than just the answer, comforted by the closeness. That night, after dinner, after bath time, and after the last bedtime story was read, Eli climbed into bed. His room was dim, lit only by the soft glow of his nightlight shaped like a star. He pulled the blankets up to his chin, but didn't close his eyes. Instead, he slipped quietly out of bed, knelt on the wooden floor beside it, and looked up at the ceiling as if the same sky stretched above him even now. "Hey, God," he whispered, "I think I've been a little far, but I want to be close. I want to know you better." There was no thunder, no light burst through the walls, but in that sacred stillness, Eli felt something stir in his heart, a warmth, a presence, like arms that wrapped around his little soul. And in that moment, God didn't feel far at all. He felt enormous and very, very near. God bless you, my friends.